So I'm going to talk a little bit about this guitar. There are plenty of reviews about the Corona Modern T, so I'm not going to go through the specs. I'm going to jump straight into what I think is the good and the bad and possibly the ugly, and I hope the ugly doesn't dissuade you from considering this instrument. Good stuff first. I feel that the hardware of this guitar is of pretty good quality. It's top-notch, reliable stuff. Locking tuners are solid. If you take a look, no slippage here. They feel premium. I also think the whammy bar is okay, and I'll talk about the whammy bar in a bit. I love the neck profile and the fact that they use roasted maple. Roasted maple has been the in thing over the last few years, and roasted maple is awesome for rigidity. It's a little bit more resistant to changes in humidity and temperature, and it's perfect for our climate. This one has a really nice subtle flame, which is not present on all of the offerings. So sometimes you're lucky, you luck out and get a real dog. The frets are awesome, and I'm talking about the fact that they're Jescar stainless steel frets. These don't feel like 55090s though, because that's my personal spec for frets, and I have two guitars that are loaded with 59090s, and these feel actually like the next step up, like 57 110s. They feel like full jumbos. The nuts okay. I think the pickups here are awesome. You probably won't have to upgrade the pickups for any reason. They're nice and warm and fat. The neck pickup is good, nice and clear. Bridge pickup has a healthy output. It's pretty hot, but they are both clear and warm and balanced, and that's a rarity for a lot of guitars in this price range. This guitar's electronics and the whole setup is well thought out. There's a lot of gray matter used here. If you hear the neck pickup, that's nice and balanced. I recommend playing with the pole piece heights. If you want to get more clarity from the bridge pickup, because of its fatness, you might want to raise the pole pieces a little, which is exactly what I did. I'm not sure if you can see that here. And the same with the neck pickup. So raising the pickups a little or messing with their height and the pole pieces would be very helpful. So I think the switching is also pretty good. I believe that the clear setting is to have the bridge pickup on parallel, which is something I totally love, and have that on some of my humbucker loaded guitars. The weight is great. I love it as older. The finish is impeccable. There's no overspray, no chunky bits. I have changed the springs, so these are raw vintage springs. You don't really have to, but I like the slinkiness, and the tone of raw vintage. I dig that the tremolo bar, the sustain block, is steel, and it's pretty big. It's big and chunky. You don't really have to change that. I've looked under the hood, and I think the electronics are okay. No issues so far with the plugs or any of the wiring. And you'll also be surprised that it's a super switch that they have loaded here. So don't feel limited to its stock settings. If you want to have fun with exploring different types of pickup wiring configurations, do so. Take advantage of that super switch, but I'm okay with it stock. It's got some pretty nice tones. Things that I feel the guitar can work on. I still feel a little sharpness on the fret edges. That's me nitpicking, because I think frets are very critical to the comfort if you're playing. Although I can play around them, but if they spend a little bit more attention on rounding these frets, dressing them, and that should be okay. But you might want to take yours to your favorite luthier, and they can take care of that for you. My other feedback for this is the tremolo bar. And if you notice, I had to MacGyver it, meaning I don't think it makes sense to have just an Allen screw to keep the bar from moving, because in due time the screw will wear out. It adds snugness, but then it limits the movement of the bar, and sometimes you just want it out of the way, and you can't do your Steve Vai spinning whammy tricks on it. So what I did was, part of my first experiment in getting this snug is by wrapping the bottom of the bar with plumber's tape or Teflon tape, which does the job okay. It works better on screw-on whammies, but this isn't the screw-on. It's a push-in that doesn't have a locking mechanism, except for the screw, which you'll need to screw. And you don't want to do that every time you take the guitar in and out. Unscrew it so it fastens, and then screw it on so it fastens, and unscrew it when it's the end of your set or something. That is pretty inconvenient. I kind of wish that they took the Goto route and had a rubber sleeve. If you look at the Goto M series, the rubber sleeve is enough to make things snug. So your second option, if you want to make this bar more snug, is to look for shrink wrap that fits the bar, which is something I will probably do. But if this really tests my patience and there's no other choice but to change the bar. But it's a good bar, you know. So I'm still gonna try to salvage its use by DIYing other things. Another thing I wish it had was a recess for the whammy bar. A lot of the good modern guitars have it, so you could lower the profile of the bar, and it also adds more range to your whammy's movement. It's okay as is. It's still playable. You can still adjust it high enough to get some pull, and I had this adjusted for it to go up. So there we go. Up to B flat on the G. That's plenty of movement, but I kind of prefer a lower profile. But aside from that, the only thing I can nitpick on it is the whammy bar. A rubber sleeve, please, would be awesome. Or if you're willing to disregard that, if the whammy is not a big deal, then figure out a way to make it more snug so that the whammy will be less reliant on this screw. And that's it. I hope you consider checking these out, or if you have one of your own, share your thoughts. But all in all, I think it's a good guitar. It punches above its weight class for sir. Really does, and I think it's pro quality. As long as you do something about the frets, maybe, and the whammy bar, you should be good. Cheers, everyone.